Thank you. So what I'm going to talk about, especially since we're approaching Race for a Soldier season, and Swing for a Soldier season and a prayer breakfast is coming up on the 26th and 28th of this month. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that and then what I've done for that organization. I'm going to start off with a video here. Years ago, this is our 4th year for Race for a Soldier, and I won't go into too much about what Race for a Soldier is about because that's in there. But the founder, Kelly Maine, and I don't know if any of you guys know, recognize that guy, Kenny Maine here. In fact, look, I'll even hit play in here. Let's see if this works out.
Hey there, Kenny Maine here, giving my support to Race for a Soldier, and why wouldn't I? It was originally dedicated to the honor and the memory of my nephew, Kyle Farr, who died after serving in Iraq. But it's really meant for every soldier who's ever served anywhere, particularly those serving right now in Afghanistan and Iraq and around the world. Most of us who haven't served don't know anything about post-traumatic stress syndrome. Kyle did, and many others coming back know how difficult it is to readjust. So all the money being raised is going to go to help support these soldiers and give them some alternative therapies that might help them readjust to civilian life a little better than they are right now. Going up to a soldier at an airport and saying thanks for your service doesn't cut it. We need to do a little bit more than that. So it's great that we're all coming together October 16th, supporting the soldiers and supporting their therapy when they come back from war. I'll see you there October 16th.
September 26th, you mean, and 8th? All right. So years ago, and this is back in, I think, 2011 must have been the first year. Leslie Maine, wonderful, beautiful. You'll see her in a second and hear her story more directly from her. She ended up coming to, it was a soldiers businessy sort of a meeting at Burrs in Lakewood. Fine establishment, check it out if you haven't already. And my business partner at the time was there at this meeting, and she was talking about how I just want to do something. I don't even know what that's going to be, but I do know that for me to deal with this heartache and trauma, I just started to run, and that's something that just helped me clear my mind, and I just want to do something to help other people not go through what I went through, and also just to help the community and these soldiers that, you know, that help us. And so the other Jason, as they call him, because that's his name too. Hi, I'm Jason Neighbors. He ended up going up to her afterwards and saying, hey, well, you know, I was very touched by your story. In fact, my grandfather, he has, you know, PTSD as well. Do you have a website? And she's like, no, I'm just getting started. And he said, well, you do now. And so the next week we met with her at a coffee shop in Tacoma, and it just built into something that keeps getting more beautiful each year, I'll have to say. So here, let's watch her talk.
How long was this?
This was back in 2000. It must have been 2011 if we're 2000. Yeah, 2011.
Well, in 2009, on March 7th, I learned that my son Kyle had over-medicated in a Baltimore hotel room, and it was one day after he had left Perry Point VA Hospital. After he left Iraq, he struggled with serious nightmares and post-traumatic stress, and also he'd been diagnosed with a traumatic brain injury. He really was trying to reclaim his life, but there were a lot of things working against him. And at the end of his time at the VA hospital in Perry Point, they told him he was taking up a bed and that he could self-medicate. And he over-medicated in a Baltimore hotel room that very first night. And I learned a lot in that year that you can run, and you can run to heal, but you can't run away from the kind of pain of losing a child. And you can't go around it, you can't go under it, you do have to go through it.
coming home to a support network is absolutely the best thing that can happen for any soldier, regardless of the level of trauma that they faced or regardless of injuries or anything. That support kind of gives the soldier a feeling of, or gave me and gives other soldiers a feeling that what they've done is worth something.
I needed a tangible reminder of why I should keep living, because that kind of pain is so overwhelming. It actually should kill you. It hurts that bad.
And I think that's the worst thing, that if somebody can come home and feel like there's no support, then why did they put their life on the line for their country, for their friends, for their family, when if they come home there's nothing there to hold them up. And I think that for me, that was huge, to be able to come home not just to my family and friends supporting me, but a community.
I started running down in Texas. I ran on the beach, I ran to work, I ran back to work, back to the house I lived in. At some point I realized that I needed to come back to Gig Harbor and resume my life and try to figure out some things and find a way to honor Kyle and honor Soldier. So I think what was really happening in my heart is I was starting to process the idea of how we can stand in the gap for our soldiers and help them, how we can help them reclaim their lives and become the men and women that God designed them to be after they shed their warrior clothes. The VA can only do so much, and so I sort of felt that the community at large needs to play a bigger part. And what does that look like? And for me, having an event like a half marathon made a whole lot of sense.
I get a lot of people that walk into the store that want to put on events, and it happens so often that it's one of those things that you have to listen to the person, hear what they have to say, and then find out if you have time for it or if it's intriguing. She came in, introduced herself. So I kind of have a few questions that I have to ask that the person almost has to pass, almost like a little test, if you will, because we all have good ideas. And then there's the reality, how much work it is. And so we talked about parking, we talked about all the logistics about putting on a race. And she just looked at me and said, I'm pretty sure I can do that. I'm pretty sure I can do that. And the way she was responding, you can tell her determination. And so quickly I realized, okay, this could be someone who I want to work with.
The whole idea behind this race is not only to bring a community together and raise awareness for post-traumatic stress disorder and traumatic brain injury and how that so negatively impacts a soldier when he comes home. So the beautiful thing about an event like this half marathon called Race for a Soldier is we can write checks to those programs that the VA is not covering. Alternative therapies like horses are doing amazing things to help soldiers.
We shared the same passion. God had really used the ashes of our lives and turned them into something just really wonderful. And we could both be a blessing to each other as well as help many more soldiers. It's very humbling. A lot of these soldiers come to us very, very bleak and dark with no passion for life whatsoever. They're in a state of hypervigilance all the time. They're really concerned about something on the backside of the fence, or they're always at a state of hypervigilance. And of course the horse is sort of along the same way that way. And within 8 weeks, them working with the horse, it's pretty amazing to see the changes that happen. And it's very humbling when you have riders come up and say, this horse has changed my life. I was going to go ahead and commit suicide, and this horse changed my mind.
By the 5th and 6th week, they're backing off their meds by some 60–70%. Those are the kind of programs we want to fund. Service dog, therapy dog programs, for a soldier to be able to have a companion dog that acts more as a therapy and service dog and be able to walk into a restaurant with their family and have a dog beside them. Those are therapies that the VA can't pay for.
No one person can go through what they've been through and then come back and transition without somebody helping. And it's just critical in my mind that they know we're here, not just in Gig Harbor, not just in Washington, but across the nation. You see grassroots efforts like this, and I think this is just the beginning.
Within the first couple of moments, she just had me completely convinced that this was something that CenturyLink had to be involved in. We had to sponsor at some level. Not only did I know that it was going to go places, but it just really pulled at my heart.
This is it! You got it! You got it! You got it!
CenturyLink is a strong supporter of our military men and women, and this was really a great way to step up and help them.
She shared with me the things she went through, from her time down in Texas to walking on the beach and finding God in her heart. And once she had that, it was about honoring her son by helping others and making this happen.
There we are. Yeah. And so since then, over the last 3 years, then we've been able to, the very first race, we had about 1,200 people there, runners, and about maybe 800 or 900 of them were the half marathoners, and they're coming from all over the country, even from Hawaii. A whole troop came over. In Japan, a whole troop of Japanese people came and trained here for a little bit and crossed all together. And then the next year, close to the 1,300 or 1,400-ish. The next year, even more. And after all the costs, because it's kind of expensive to block off streets and do all these things, we're trying to. Well, we do go top-notch with things, finisher medals, very premium, quality materials and stuff like that. But we've been able to pay out over $97,000 worth in checks to the equestrian, the horse program that you saw there. Things with soldiers scaling mountains and overcoming their challenges that way, scuba diving and whatnot. And a neat thing too, that the Horses for Heroes program that you saw there, since we helped to boost them so significantly in their first years, now they're nationally recognized to where they're showing other equestrian, I should get this word right since I talk about it at least once. What's that? Equestrian. And there we are. That's 100% accurate on my part. Where they're helping to spread their structure to other places around the world, because last year I showed another video where we were interviewing various soldiers that are going through that. And just some of those stories were just incredibly touching. You can see them here if you go to raceforsoldier.org, go under race info and go to videos, and you can watch a whole slew of them. And how many more minutes? 4 minutes?
Oh, no, you're good. You got another 2 minutes.
What? All
yes,
right.
I know.
I'll use up maybe 7 or 8.
No.
So after a second year, and one thing I should say, we talked about 1,200 people, 1,300 people participating. Thousands at the home base are volunteering. People just lining the streets of Counterwood, the whole Counterwood town basically, because part of the race it's a very beautiful course. And I have to be the first to admit, half marathon, it's not out of my range, but it's currently out of my range because I've only done a couple miles, 4 or 5 or something, but we do have a 2-miler, and it's a run or walk, just saying that, and it's a super, I think it's now at this level like $35 or $45 or something, and you still get a shirt, you still get dog tag necklace, and you get to be a part of this whole wonderful experience, and a little number badge. Actually, you don't get a number badge, you take that back, but you do get a shirt like this, and look, there's logos on the back. But the half marathon, whether you just want to be there for the starting gun, I mean, that first year when they sang the national anthem, people are kind of stretching, people are tearing up. You see a whole bunch of soldiers, some wearing, their full gear with their full backpack, holding the flag. Is just very emotional. And then seeing Leslie see that happen and her just, tearing up and stuff. It's just a very, very unforgettable experience. So that'll be on the 28th of this month, a Sunday. The starting gun for the half marathoners is at 8 o'clock. It's a little early, but I tell you what, the world is beautiful at that hour. And then the 2 miler folk like myself, that's at 9, I believe, or something. But heck, it's even just free just to be there again, just to cheer people on and just be a part of that. And we have a whole bunch of booths out there in the finishing line zone. So if you want to learn about, like, there's Safe Boats, which is this really awesome A-team worthy boat manufacturer that's in the area, but they do boats for teams and people just all over the world. I mean, the type, the Coast Guard are using the things there. They have those you can kind of explore. Of course, there's like massages and things like that that are going to be there. Fruits and miscellaneous things. You get to meet the people that do the horse programs and the dog programs and some of the other programs. And so that's pretty powerful. And then also you do get to cheer people. There's going to be music and stuff like that. Friday, the preceding Friday, I believe it starts at 7:30. Ever since the first year, we did a prayer breakfast open up that weekend. And we always thought that God has allowed so much to happen in this group and just lined up these things to where that should be acknowledged for those that, that want to be there. But it's also an opportunity for soldiers to come and to speak and tell their stories. And I tell you what, there's just some amazing stories and so poetic and so touching. I mean, I've watched a lot of movies, right? And you see a lot of what people go through. And I know that even here that there's veterans that have gone through stuff. And that's not a big enough word for it. But just seeing this and the music and the lifting people up and just the celebrating of the life after the uniform is powerful. This year, sold out again for that, but this year we're going to do a live stream. And so before work, at work, whatever, you can go to Race for a Soldier /prayer breakfast. There'll be a link on the front page. And you can watch the live feed of that. And likely we'll also have it, films that you can watch afterwards. It should be pretty amazing. And at our second year, one of the people in our group ended up wanting to do something like, hey, I don't run, but I do play golf. And so how about in 3 months, we get something together and we get a tournament going, and other people in the group like, 3 months, no. Yeah, I know that's, your heart's in the right spot, but that's probably not going to happen. So, okay, so next year. So last year was the first Swing for a Soldier event that we had. Swing for a Soldier. And again, it was our mission to raise funds, raise awareness, and also just help people be involved in this in a different aspect or whatnot. And one thing that was pretty unique, at least as far as our area, is that not only can you go to swingforsoldier.org and register yourself a team of 4 or not, but you can also have the opportunity to sponsor soldiers to play. And so even if you don't want to play, you can go up there and say, hey, I want to pay for 3 soldiers, and it's a discounted rate, $135 for soldiers to play, $165 for civilians, and $135 for active military. So people sign up like, I want a foursome, but there's only 2 of us, so okay, 2 of us, and we want to play with 2 soldiers, or I just want to pay for a foursome. So that's also an opportunity to where golf players here, whether you want to partake or not, or want to help other people partake. Last year we had about 30 soldiers that ended up playing, and it was... Is that on the same date? It's on Friday the 26th. So it's, yeah, gosh, it's coming up fast. Yep. And tee off, I believe, is at 12:30. Yeah, it's at 12:30. And I mean, it's, again, everything we're doing, we want to do, top notch with class. Starting with, or including, I should say, this is kind of cool, right? I took satellite footage of these different holes and drew them out because, though it's a beautiful golf course, Eagles Pride Golf Course in Lakewood, Washington, they didn't quite have this material, and so again, we wanted to kick it up a notch. So we did this. Also, we filled up our whole sponsors yet again this year which is great. We have all of our miles sponsor, which is great this year. There's this beautiful panel where you get to see all the sponsors, and on the pages themselves, I'm just kind of saying this for next year in case anyone's interested. This gets passed out to various golf courses. We have our posters out everywhere and little trifold brochures and whatnot. Yes.
Is that the Madigan course?
No, it's the one you can. It used to be.
That's a good course.
It used to be the military course or whatnot. It's the one you can see through the freeway on I-5.
That's the Fort Lewis one?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's not Fort Lewis. That's the big one. Big was pretty nice too.
It's 3 or 4 complete things, right? Yeah, just right before the Nisqually Valley to the right. And the one I'm not much of a golfer myself, though I do love the sport. Tell you what, I did play last year, and fortunately, the other Jason, he's incredible at golf and pretty much any sport he puts his mind to. And we had 2 veterans on our team, and I told one of them had a cane, because he's all this whole list of injuries, and he's a young guy. He's probably 24 or something like that. But he had his cane. He kind of get there, but then he dropped that, and our team, we got first place. Yeah, we used 2 of my hits. It was one of those things where, one of your hits and then you don't play the next thing, one of those sorts of deals. What's that?
Is it a best ball style tournament?
Yes, indeed. And then if your ball was best, you can't hit the next time, sort of a deal. So it's a switch off, whatever.
And if you're really bad, you have to use at least one.
That's right. Yeah. They used 2 of mine, and I earned 2 of them. But I mean, look at this top class bag here. Even has a Swing for a Soldier. Incredible bag of hats and towels. Yeah, it's just a fun time. And I know the little gifts and the whatnots isn't the point of these events, but we had so many people there that were impressed. Like, wow, this is your first year doing this. This seems like you've been doing this for a long time. Same with the race. We have so many people that either intended to have their first half marathon be our half marathon, or had been doing half marathons and said, you know what, this is the one I'm going to schedule my other half marathons around, because this is one that I don't want to miss again. It's just that powerful and such a beautiful, beautiful course. Another random, I wouldn't say trinket, but this water bottle, this is made in the great USA, and they're only, maybe like 12 to 15 bucks or something to produce or whatever. So I'm just giving a shout out to Liberty Bottle Works, as if you guys need anything for your marketing purposes, I can let you know who they are. Or, I just think that's pretty cool and worth showing off. So we're getting close to full on the Swing for a Soldier. There's always room for the half marathon and 2 mile. And so if you want to talk to me for more information, or you just want to go to raceforsoldier.org or swingforsoldier.org, then at least look into it, and hopefully you can swing by and just be a part of it in some form or another, because, yeah, you won't forget it.